Okay, I think we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another protest talk today with Vivek Shringi. I have him on the other side, and I will give him a word in a minute. As you're already hearing, this meeting, this talk will be in English. So I think we can start. And Vivek Shringi is QA director in the Sinnerschrader, and today he has talked about tool Puppeteer. So, hello Vivek, how are you today? You are mute, sorry.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing good, Petra, and thank you for introducing me.
Yeah, no problem. So, I think it's all yours. And yeah, only information which I gave the audience who is listening us are that as always we created the Slido. The link is in the description of the video, and I posted in the chat as well. So we will get through that questions in the end of the call. So yeah, and I think Vivek, that's it from me for now. It's all yours. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see.
Yeah. Can you check that you can see my screen, Petra?
Yes, I can see screen. I check YouTube as well. YouTube looks fine. So yeah, you are all clear to start.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. So today I would like to talk about Puppeteer, which is not very popular among browser automation community, but this tool is very promising tool. And I learned about this tool by accident because someone told me to use it, and then I started using in one of my project. And I was very impressed how the capability of this tool is. So yeah, I would like to provide you a good overview how it works, and the highlights, what the important feature about Puppeteer. I will also provide some brief comparison if we talk about very popular tools like Selenium and Cypress. And at the end of the presentation, I also would like to give you some brief demo that how you can set up Puppeteer as a tool to use your website, your projects, so that like you can get a good heads up, and you need not to start as a core API library. And yeah, it will be more a facilitation, and you'll not be struggling using this tool. So here are the highlights about Puppeteer. So Puppeteer is developed by a Chromium project, and it is open source, so everyone can use Puppeteer for free. Puppeteer is a node library which provides a high-level API to control Chrome and Chromium. The Chromium is based, like the Chrome is based on Chromium project. As you might have heard that the IE Edge, the Microsoft browser, they are also building or developing one new, very new browser, which is based on Chromium. And the main why we use Puppeteer is mainly to control DevTools protocol of Chromium browser. And the good part of Puppeteer is that it will exist until Chrome exists. So this is quite a good thing because, as you know, that now Chrome became a very popular and very important browser for everyone. And if you are checking all the user stats, those are more than 70%. So this is quite good, and there are no extra effort you have to make, because if Chrome exists, then Puppeteer will exist. And last but not least, Puppeteer can be used as a browser automation tool without making any effort, and it will work similarly how like other popular tool works. For example, Cypress and Selenium. And why we should use Puppeteer? So first thing is that I also worked or used Cypress and Selenium. What I saw is that Puppeteer is comparatively very fast and reliable. So this is a positive aspect of Puppeteer. Second thing is that if just for example, if you are working on some Chrome extensions, then I think I would prefer Puppeteer compared to other tools, because this is inbuilt project of Chrome, and then you have more control if you are automating some Chrome extensions. Third thing is that it also supports Chrome headless browser. So this is also a good thing, and without without struggling with this configuration problem, giving some relative paths just to invoke Chrome or other browser, you will not do that, and you can just directly jump into test script authoring. So this is a good thing. Fourth thing is that you will also find well-defined documentation about Puppeteer. So you can always refer GitHub README document, and there you can find how to use individual functions, user-defined functions. So this is also a kind of advantage. And sometimes, like, what I feel is that when you use Selenium or Cypress, there are some challenges where like you struggle a lot because the way these tool builds. So the Puppeteer is built differently, so it can be used if you are if you are facing a lot of challenges, and you have like some specific problem where you would like to automate some special operations, then you can opt Puppeteer. So I just shortlisted a couple of important features, how Puppeteer is different. So some of them may be like some other tools can also use these features. So for example, Puppeteer can be used as a PDF generation tool. So what you can do is, like, if you would like to create a web crawler, what is web crawler is that it silently opens all the link of a website, and it can take the screenshot. So similarly, Puppeteer can be used as a you can use this particular feature, and you can generate all these pages, and you can convert into PDF, and it can tell you what content is available for a website. So this is special. Second thing is that it also supports parallel test execution. So you can initiate 10 or 15 different instances where you can target different kind of test cases. So you can group different test cases, and you can run them parallel. Third thing is that sometimes you need like simulating network speed. So like if you would like to test your website in 2G environment or 3G environment, you can also simulate this particular network speed using Puppeteer. Fourth is quite common feature. I think every popular tool has it. So if you talk about taking screenshot, it is quite common. Then nowadays, like we also have certain requirements like about mobile browsers. So this is also becoming very popular, that uh, like every web project is using a mobile first approach, and there you have to support multiple views. So your application should work on mobile, tablet, and different viewports. So you can easily mention these viewports, and you can check that how your website look like on mobile, how it looks like in portrait or landscape mode. So this is also special about it. Then I think sixth feature is that it can also track web events. So for example, if some dialogue is open and you would like to perform, you would like to track these events, it can be easily be tracked. Then you can also interact with cookies. So if you would like to add some entry, if you would like to delete cookie of a browser, you can easily do using Puppeteer. Sometimes we need like special header when we are accessing dev environment or QA environment. So in that case, what you have to do is like installing some extra extension just to modify the header. But when you use Puppeteer, it's very easy, because just you have to add this particular parameter, and you can easily access dev or QA specific environment if you need like additional header. And by providing this header, then you can map to QA environment. Now, like using iframes are also quite common, because now web applications are very powerful. So sometimes you face that you have to interact with iframe. So this is also possible using Puppeteer. Then sometimes you also have to modify network request, or you are just seeking one particular network request when you start automating some processes. So this is also possible. Also, you can run JavaScripts, specific JavaScripts on browser if you'd like to do some special operations. So I also would like to highlight that how it is different from Selenium. So normally Selenium uses the WebDriver protocol, which requires running a server that acts as an intermediate between Selenium and browser. So for example, like all these Selenium supported drivers, for example, Chrome driver, Gecko driver, or Safari driver, they follow the same mechanism. But in case of Puppeteer, you don't need this intermediate server. And as soon as that Chrome instance is started, you can start interacting with DevTools. So it directly communicates with DevTool protocols. And yeah, this is the main difference if you compare with Selenium. And that is the main reason this is fast compared to Selenium. If we compare with Cypress, then I would say why Cypress is becoming more popular, because it provides you all the libraries. So you need not to set up additional libraries. So it provides you testing framework. Its debugging capabilities are also outstanding. So that is the reason now Cypress is becoming more powerful. But if you talk about Puppeteer, then we have to set up everything in Puppeteer as well. So this is like a little disadvantage, but once all setup is done, then I would say you can leverage the power of Puppeteer. one special thing is that, as far as I learned, I think Cyprus, in Cyprus, if you would like to do this parallel execution, then you have to I think, pay extra. But in Puppeteer, you can easily do it, and you don't need you need not to pay anything, and it will execute all these instances, and you can easily do browser automation in parallel. So now I would like to explain that how Puppeteer works. So Puppeteer directs, or Puppeteer only talks about this dev tool protocols, and then it gives all the commands to the browser. So here we have different browser contexts. So browser contexts are like one full browser context, and then you have these different tabs in one single browser context. And as you know that if we would like to introduce, if we have different frames in a page, then you can have multiple frames in a page. So that is the reason it mentioned that a page can have multiple frames. And after frame, you have this execution context where, it's a kind of like special container where you are firing all these commands, because it might be possible that you have multiple frames in a page and you are interacting, or you are interacting with different frames. And workers are like instances, multiple instances in a page, which are performing certain operation when you're doing web tools. So this is the brief definition. So as I explained that Puppeteer communicates with the browser using DevTools protocol, and these browser instances can own multiple browser contexts, and these browser contexts instance defines a browsing session and can own multiple pages. So this is like a very detailed, and you can also find all these definitions on if you're searching on Google GitHub Puppeteer, then you will find all these documentation and you can understand that how it works. Puppeteer is available in two packages. So first is Puppeteer and second is Puppeteer Core. So in Puppeteer, you need not to download any additional browser. So this is like as a full package where you need not to take care about browser, and you can just directly jump into test script. And I would say this second package, which is Puppeteer Core, it is for more advanced operation. So it comes without browser, so it is very lightweight, and mainly it is used for if you would like to test extensions, Chrome extensions, and this is also detached from a browser. So if you would like to target some other browsers of Chromium project, then you can target them. And one special thing about Puppeteer Core is that all defined Puppeteer environment variables will not work on Puppeteer Core. And what setup we need if you would like to set up Puppeteer? So mainly, I think editor, the IDE, integrated development environment tool plays a very important role. So I think this is Visual Studio Code, because nowadays it is very popular among front-end community. So I am using the same. And before starting Puppeteer, we have to install Node.js, because this is Node.js based tool. And we only after installing this Node.js, we can pull all the dependencies of Puppeteer, and then we can start working on it. Also, we need Jest as a testing framework. So just is for to control like how our test scripts run. So first it will also provide you a session library. This is also one of the advantage. So it is similar to TestNG or JUnit or NUnit. But as like we are writing all the code in JavaScript and TypeScript, just is used. One disadvantage that you have to learn JavaScript. If you do not know JavaScript, then it is really hard to use Puppeteer. So it is JavaScript and TypeScript based tool. If you know only Java or other languages, then I think Selenium would be a good choice. But again, you have to take every tool has its own advantage and disadvantage. So based on that, you should do tool selection. So now I would like to show, I would like to give you the brief demo. So first thing is that I also have this tiny project which I created for just to start up. So you can also use it if you want. Maybe I will share it later on. So what I did is like I integrated Puppeteer with Jest and TypeScript, so you can write all the tests in TypeScript, and it is having all these blocks. So you can directly jump into setting up your project, and you can directly write all the test script without wasting any time, because sometimes I feel that if it is like core library and you have to add Jest and you have to add some other libraries because they are having other regions to integrate, then it takes a lot of time to set up. And that is the main reason Cypress is more popular compared to Puppeteer. So you can always use this project. It's a just example. And why I created this project, because initially I wanted to cover every possible function. And I just started because I was learning that tool, and that is the reason I pushed this repo. So you can always use, and if you have any question, you can always contact. Yeah, and during demo, I use this Internet Heroku app. This particular app gives you, it's not like a real website, I would say, but it provides you all the scenarios. For example, file download scenarios, or if you would like to test basic authentication, you can easily do it. If you would like to test some special scenarios, you can, if you would like to interact with horizontal slider, this is giving all the web components so that like you can cover web specific components and you can use them. So I would say this particular example site is not giving real examples, but at least it is offering all the web components which you have to interact when you're doing browser automation. So I would like to share this tiny project. So I already downloaded this in Git, and now I will explain how it works. So first is this particular GitHub, the YML file. So what YML file do is that if you'd like to run it independently on continuous development pipeline, then you can use GitHub Action. So this is the main aim. You have to create this particular YML file so that it can be run independently on cloud, and you need not to run this particular file locally. So I set it up this as well, and yeah, you can check this pipeline. This is available in GitHub Action. So you can always click on this GitHub Action, and then you can check if these are failing or passed. So this is also because sometimes you need not to execute all the tests locally, but somewhere in continuous development pipeline. And this is also an important aspect to learn how it works. And after that, these are the node modules. So I can start with package.json. And here you have all these libraries which I use. So I used types of Puppeteer and Jest. Then I use ESLint just to make beautiful JavaScript or TypeScript code, because sometimes you forget all the context. So ESLint help you and gives you all the errors so that you can write good code. Then TypeScript is there and Puppeteer. So there are no many libraries, and these are like few libraries which I integrated, but it is more than enough when you would like to start Puppeteer as a tool. Then there are some defined scripts. So what I did is I created 4 files. In first file, what I'm doing is I'm doing all these browser instance tests just to showcase that how it works. So you can invoke browser context in incognito mode, normal modes, and you can set some cookie. You can also check what Chrome version you have. You can also check user agent. Yeah, so this is for browser test. So as you can see here, I'm initializing the endpoint, then I'm disconnecting, and then I'm reconnecting, and then I'm interacting at browser context level. So this is not standard way. I will show you if you would like to start some website, but this is more advanced topic where you are initializing some endpoints, the browser endpoints, and then you are connecting and disconnecting. Then sometimes you need incognito mode. So this is also possible in Puppeteer. As you can see that you have this particular function, and then this can be used in incognito mode. Second is like if you would like to add some cookie or set some cookie, then you can do it. So this is the standard way how you can initiate the page. And as you can see in before each, first thing is what I did is I initiated this browser, the Puppeteer instance of browser, so that browser instance or the browser context can be initiated. And then I'm using pages. So I started this new page, and then I am navigating to this particular page. And after that, I am setting this cookie value. And after that, I am fetching what cookies I have. And after that, I'm validating whether I have this cookie available or not. And after that, I'm deleting cookie. And then again, I'm checking that this should not be present. All assertions are used from Jest. So I didn't use Mocha or Chai, but you can also use it if you would like to use them. Then this is also one of the example where I'm checking the version. So it is headless Chrome, and similarly, you can also use user agent, and you can get all the information. This is all basic browser operations. So in general, you will not use it, but there are some special conditions where you may use these use cases. So you can refer them. and it would be easy. Second is like events. So as you know that browser have a lot of events, and you can track all these events in Puppeteer. So first of all, what I'm doing is I am launching a Chromium project in headless mode using headless true. And then after that, I am opening multiple tabs, and then I'm verifying. Also, I'm taking screenshot of, I'm renaming them, I'm naming them as test-ng. So I already ran this test, and as you can see that this is giving me a screenshot of this particular website. So you can also do a lot of screenshots using this test. Then in next test, I am checking whether load event is triggered or not. So first of all, I started this page instance, and I'm telling if this load event is there, then please mark page loaded flag as true. So when you are accessing the website and load event is triggered, this page loaded flag became true, and I'm asserting whether this particular event is triggered or not. Similarly, I used some website alerts or events. So for example, these pop-ups. So as soon as these pop-ups are popped, then you can track in Puppeteer that if these are popped or not. So there are like 3 different type of pop-ups. So one is JS alert, where you have only OK, and second is like 2 buttons, OK and cancel. So you can do all these operations easily in Puppeteer. So this is just to showcase that it have good capability. So similarly, I track these events. So as you can see that the dialog event is triggered, then it is tracking. Then when I'm clicking confirm and when I'm accepting this, I tracked here, and then it is giving me true. So these all advanced operations, but sometimes you have to use, and it is needed. Similarly, you have other events, for example, close, or if you would like to check that what are the console events, you can also do that. Then sometimes there are some specific conditions like website is loaded or DOM is loaded, because there are some different definition. So DOM is the document object model of the browser, which is like main container where you have all these HTML elements. So you can also target that, and you can ask Puppeteer to wait until this particular condition is true, and then you can perform other operations. You can also track page errors. So you can check like what page errors you are getting. If this particular event is triggered, then you can stop your test because errors are not good, and you can easily track these. Also, you can target the backend REST APIs, so you can also automate them, and you can target these events like request and response of a particular status. So you can just try these endpoints, and you can check whether you are getting these events or not. Then request finished. So when you are accessing website, then you may have multiple requests behind the scene. So you can target these individual requests, and you can also track using Puppeteer. Then last but not least is when you would like to interact with the frame. This is also possible. And this is just a kind of like code snippet. But either you can use this one, or you can also use detailed GitHub document, because I also find that they have very good documentation available. So this particular event, this was opened in headless mode, so it will not be visible when you're firing your script. So in order to run only event test, what I can do is I can check how to trigger event. So as you can see, I have to give this particular script. So I'm using yarn just to fire all these events. So as soon as when you're clicking, it invokes the Chrome browser as headless. It runs all the tests, and it provides you some results. So as you can see, there are 2 tests are failing. Maybe these are failed because I automated them long back. So this is how you get the result, and you will not see the real browser invoked in headless mode. So this is the main advantage, because sometimes you would like to do some other work when your tests are executing, and this is all running in background, and you just want to make sure what errors are coming. So it is quite helpful when you are invoking Chrome in headless mode. Then here we have example test. In example test, as you can see, I am using this viewport. So this is like a particular width and height of this screen, and the device scale factor is 1. So, and this is going to open in real Chrome mode. So it is not headless, and you can see how it works. And then this particular parameter object I'm mentioning in set viewport. By this, I can initiate this browser at any width and height. Even I can use mobile width and height. And by this way, you can target different screen sizes if your website is mobile first website. And these before all and after all functions are REST. So this is like standard facilitation of test framework, where you can target these functioning. You can check where you would like browser to open, page to open. So you can control, and you have more control over that. Then I am targeting this title, if title is the internet or not. After that, I am validating whether I have same width and height or not. So I'm just asserting. Then there are some use cases. For example, when I am interacting with one particular element. So this is the code snippet. If you would like to interact with the element, and you would like to get more details about this web element. So you can easily do that. So I'm getting some properties of H1 element, and then I'm taking screenshot of this particular web element. So you can also decide that which web element you would like to target, and you can take snapshot. So when I'm referring hello JPG, so this is H1 tag of full website, and this is taking screenshot of H1 tag. Sometimes you have a selector, and by this selector, you can have various elements. This is happening when you are targeting order list or unordered list. There are many scenarios where you can find these things. So this is unordered list, where I would like to interact only with the first element, and this is the way how you can do it. Then evaluation is to silently getting all the attributes rather than interacting with the element. So you can use eval method instead of $. So it is similar to find elements in Selenium. And then you can also, if you would like to target only single element, then you can use eval, but it is only for getting all the element properties. For example, styling, color, there are many properties. And then you can also, if you don't want to select CSS selectors, but you would like to use XPath, then Puppeteer also support that, and you can use #X instead of eval $ or $. Then you can also add scripts tags, and you can insert these scripts in your browser, and then you can verify. Similarly, you can also add styles. So all these operations are available, so you can check, and if you have any question, I am happy to answer. Then you can also fetch the whole page content, the HTML page. This is also possible. I think all standard tools do it, but it will provide you a good confidence that, yeah, you can do all these operations. Then wait until, so I think Cypress has this thing that it silently waits for the element until it is displayed. Unfortunately, Puppeteer never do like this. So you have to wait until this particular element is visible. So you have to specifically mention it. And but again, it's not disadvantage, because once you define all these helper functions, then you can easily use that. So the next scenario is when you're waiting for navigation, and many more. Similarly, there are some more, and I also created the helper function. So helper functions are like when you need something like common operations. For example, like you would like to interact, just a click. If you would like to select one particular drop down, so you are creating more user-defined functions where they need not to write full code, but they can just call this particular function and give the locator, and then this particular function will do everything for you. So this is mainly it. And now I can showcase you that how it works, and then we can come up with your questions if you have any. So to execute all internet, I'm just, maybe I have to just do this, and then so that you can also see that browser instance is invoked when I'm running all these tests. So as you can see that this chromium is invoked, and now it is running the test. This is very fast, and it is performing all the tests. So as you can see, all tests are passed, and it also provides you how many milliseconds it took to run that test. I think this is just functionality. This is not Puppeteer, but this can provide you good overview about that how your website is performing. So as you can see that this page authentication is taking 3.6 seconds. So you can have like a very good idea about your website's front-end performance, that how it is behaving. So that's all from my side. So now maybe we can we can cover questions if you have any.
Yeah. Thank you, Vivek. It was very interesting. I'm glad to saw that because I'm enjoying learning the new stuff and new tools. That is great. We have some question in Slido. One is in the YouTube, so I saw that you already checked that. So if you want to, I can read it for you. And it is from Harish Martievich. Marty, which browser does Puppeteer support, and what is the main difference between Cypress?
So as I already explained in my presentation, I think Puppeteer supports really good the Chrome and Chromium projects. So right now, if you would like to automate something in Firefox, and then I think this is not the right tool. And if you talk about the main difference between Cypress, I think Cypress is a end-to-end testing environment rather than having only a single library. So this is the main difference if you talk about Cypress and Puppeteer. Puppeteer is a single API or single node library, which is helping you to interact with the dev tools of the company.
Okay, great, thank you. And then we have some questions in Slido. One is, what are the negatives of using Puppeteer?
Do you see any? No, I don't think that there are some negatives. The only thing is that initial time to set up Puppeteer takes more time. So, and that is the reason now Cypress is becoming more popular, because you can just download Cypress and you can start using it at first instance. But once your setup is done, it's really easy to use.
Super, great, thank you. Another question is it possible to integrate the tool into this continuous integration, continuous deployment pipelines? And I think we saw that in your GitHub, right?
Yeah,
but you have there.
This is very easy. So you have to just like create a YML file, or what tool, what continuous development tool you are using, and based on that, you can easily integrate Puppeteer. The only requirement is that you should have one sandbox where Chrome can be installed.
Okay. Great, thank you. We have 2 more questions here. Is there any possibility to call, for example, REST API from the Puppeteer or not?
This is possible, and I think I covered that, but very briefly. So, for example, here I am in events.
I stop your sharing. We get to see each other, so you can please start sharing again.
Okay. Just a minute.
Yeah.
So as you can see in this event file, I'm also targeting some specific event where I'm expecting request and response. So by requesting and response, you can. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Now you
it started. Yeah. Now we can see it. Great.
So this particular code snippet can be used for REST or API option. So it can be you can easily use for REST API automation as well. And this would be useful.
Okay, thank you. And the last question is there, how the documentation look like, if you can show us?
Yeah, so the documentation is purely a GitHub document, and you have all the examples available, how it works. So this is the full documentation where they explain you how to use these user-defined functions, how to launch Puppeteer, And I think this particular one file is more than enough. But there are some other websites or tutorials you will get. But this is the main source of information.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's it. I will check the YouTube and the Slido. Yeah, we have one more question from Haresh. Can we execute our tests from terminal like headless mode in Cypress? If so, can you please show how does it look?
I think I already covered the headless mode. So just you have to provide this particular parameter. So in event, as you can see here, I have to just give this headless as true, and then everything, the browser will be invoked in headless browser.
Okay. Yeah, and another part of the question was if we are able to run it, for example, from the command line or from the terminal, if it's possible, or is it required to have some IDE for that, for the TypeScript?
No, I think there are no IDs required if you already have Node module available. So first time you have to install all the defined libraries, and once it is done, you can easily execute your test using terminal. But the only precondition in terminal is that you have to reach to this particular project, and then you can run your tests, just like yarn test or some other predefined test script. So there are no IDs required. If you don't want to use ID, you may skip this part.
Okay, great. I will check the all of stuff again. Yeah, I think these are all questions which we had. So I would like to thank you, Vivek, because it was very interesting to get to know, yeah, about another tool than the Cypress or Selenium. Yeah, so it was very interesting for me, and yeah, I think that's it for today. So thank you one more time. Thank you, the watchers who are watching us on YouTube, in the live stream or in the from the archive. So yeah, it was a pleasure. Thanks a lot, and we will see each other in another protest community talk or meetup, maybe. Maybe we will see each other personally.
Maybe soon.
We will see. Maybe soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
great.
if you have any question about Puppeteer, I'm happy to answer. So yeah, you can.
We will. We will leave the
Yeah.
We will leave the contact in the YouTube video description, and I will post it to the chat as well, so it will be there.
Okay. Thank you for attending, and thank you for organizing, Petra, and see you soon.
Yes, see you soon as well. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a nice evening.
You too. Okay, yeah. The stream is ended.